This is an F1 team. Looks like fast cars and champagne. Wrong. This is a $200 million billboard. On wheels. These men don't race to win money. They race to be seen. Plot twist. Winning is almost irrelevant. One bad sponsor deal and the whole empire collapses. One cost cap violation and you're finished. One wrong headline and the money evaporates overnight. But there's a problem. Nobody actually explains where the money comes from, or why a team worth over $1 billion started as a rich man's vanity project. Anyway, today let's dive deep into the genuinely disturbing financial theater of Formula One, even for me with my goldfish attention span. This is an F1 team. Looks like fast cars and champagne. Wrong. This is a $200 million billboard on wheels, where they are going 200 miles per hour. These men don't race to win money. It's just pure adrenaline. They race to be seen. And winning? Almost irrelevant. One bad sponsor deal and the whole empire collapses. One cost cap violation and you're finished. One wrong headline and the money evaporates overnight. But nobody actually explains where the money comes from, or why a team worth over $1 billion started as a rich man's vanity project. Let me paint you a picture. It is the year 2000-something. A billionaire wakes up. He is bored, he does not want a yacht, he does not want a football club, he wants an F1 team, so he buys one for around $40 million, maybe less. Actually, probably less. Fast forward to 2025. That same team is worth over $1 billion. $1 billion, with a B, the large one. And he didn't win a single world championship. He barely finished in the top 5. Some seasons, he was genuinely embarrassing, but the valuation kept climbing year after year like it was possessed. So the obvious question is, how? Here is what most people think. They think F1 teams make money by winning races. Win race, get trophy, get cash, pay the bills. Wrong. Prize money from the FIA exists and it helps, but it is not the main event. The main event is something far more disturbing, far more elegant. It is the art of making other people's money your money, without them fully realizing it. Think of an F1 team like a very expensive house. You need a mortgage, furniture, staff, and a car that costs more than a small country's GDP. You could pay for all of this yourself, if you are insane, or a car manufacturer with a point to prove. Or you could find someone else to pay for the walls, someone else to pay for the roof, someone else to pay for the engine, and charge them all the privilege of putting their logo on the front door. That is Formula One, the most expensive, most glamorous, most profitable shared house in human history, and the numbers are genuinely disturbing. A title sponsorship, the big one, the name on the car, can cover more than 50% of a team's entire annual budget. 50%. Oracle pays Red Bull Racing somewhere in the region of $100 million a year just to put their name on the car, just to be seen next to the world champion's helmet. That is not a sponsorship. That is a business strategy. Brand domination dressed up as motorsport. An F1 team is not a racing team that happens to have sponsors. It is a marketing empire that happens to race cars. The cars are the product, the race weekends are the commercials, and the sponsors are the ones paying for the whole show. Disturbing? Yes. Brilliant? Also yes. Welcome to Formula One, the sport where everybody wins, except sometimes the people actually driving the cars. Now here is where it gets truly unhinged, because it is not just one sponsor. It is never just one sponsor. An F1 car is not a racing machine. It is a moving inventory of real estate. Every single panel, every wing, every millimeter of visible surface has a price tag attached to it. The nose cone, the halo, the driver's helmet, the pit crew's overalls, the garage wall, the team principal's jacket, all of it, for sale, always. And the pricing works like any other piece of premium real estate. Location, visibility, and how many eyeballs are watching. A logo on the engine cover, dead center on the car, facing every camera on the grid, that will cost you. A small badge on the rear wing that disappears at 200 miles per hour, cheaper, but still not cheap. Nothing in this sport is cheap. A serious F1 team will carry anywhere between 15 and 30 sponsors at any given time. Some are title sponsors, the ones whose name sits next to the team's name, the ones writing the 9-figure checks. Some are official partners, paying for a specific category, the official airline, the official watch, the official energy drink. And then there are the smaller technical partners, the ones providing software, tires, lubricants, or cloud computing services in exchange for a logo and a press release that says they are powering the future of motorsport. Every single one of those deals is a negotiation. A performance, a delicate dance between what the team needs and what the brand wants. Because brands do not sponsor F1 teams out of charity. They sponsor F1 teams because Formula One is now a global entertainment product watched by over 700 million people across the world. That is 700 million sets of eyes seeing your logo every single race weekend, in every single country, on every single screen. The ROI on that is almost impossible to calculate, which is exactly why brands keep paying. But here is the part that most people miss. Sponsorship in F1 is not just about logos. It is about access. It is about hospitality suites at Monaco, where you entertain your most important clients on a super yacht with a grandstand view. It is about your CEO standing next to a world champion for a photo that will run in every business publication on the planet. It is about your company being associated permanently, emotionally, with speed, precision, excellence, and winning. You are not buying advertising space. You are buying an identity transfer. You are telling the world that your brand belongs in the same sentence as the fastest, most technically advanced sport in existence. And for a tech company, a bank, a luxury goods firm, or an airline trying to position itself as premium, that association is worth every single dollar of that 9-figure check, sometimes more. So when you look at a modern F1 car and see 20 different logos crammed onto every surface, do not laugh. Do not call it tacky. That car is not a racing machine with too many stickers. That car is a fully funded, carefully negotiated, meticulously priced piece of moving corporate infrastructure. And every logo on it represents a deal that is keeping the whole operation alive. Without them, there is no car. Without the car, there is no team. Without the team, there is no sport. It is a jungle out there, and the sponsors are the ones who own it. Sponsorships are the main course. But there's a side dish. It comes from a document so secretive most fans have never seen a single line of it. It's called the Concorde Agreement. It decides where the money goes between the teams, the FIA, and Liberty Media, who've owned the commercial rights since 2017. Every team signs it. No signature, no entry. Simple as that. It's named after a street in Paris where it was first signed back in 1981. What it controls, more than anything, is who gets paid and how much. F1 earns from hosting fees, broadcast deals, and partnerships. That money gets split. The FIA takes some, Liberty Media takes some. The teams share what's left, roughly 50% of total commercial revenue divided across 10 teams over a full season. Each of those teams spends somewhere between $140 million and $400 million just to compete. You do the math. It's not enough. Without sponsors, most teams fold inside a year. Prize money covers the basics, sponsors cover everything else. Here's where it gets ugly. The split isn't equal. Ferrari has raced every season since 1950. No other team has. So they get a bonus payment just for that. Around $70 million a year on top of whatever prize money they earn just for being Ferrari. Smaller teams know this and they hate it. Ferrari didn't earn that bonus last weekend. They earned it over 70 years. The agreement pays it out every single year no matter where Ferrari finishes. Some teams are just worth more to the sport than others, and the contract says so in writing. Every team still signs it. The platform F1 offers is too big to walk away from. So they take the deal, get back in the car, and hope the next agreement is fairer. It never really is. F1 used to have one rule about money: spend it. All of it. Ferrari burned through over $400 million in a single season during the early 2000s. Mercedes wasn't far behind. The logic was simple. More spending means faster cars means more wins means bigger sponsors. The cycle fed itself every year with no limit and no shame. For smaller teams, this wasn't a competition, it was damage control. Williams, once one of the most decorated teams in the sport, was running on a budget Mercedes could spend in one development cycle. Haas, the American team that joined in 2016, was spending a fraction of what top teams considered loose change. The gap between the front and the back of the grid was measured in hundreds of millions of dollars, and it kept growing. Then, in 2021, the FIA introduced the budget cap, a hard spending limit on car development and operations. The current figure sits around $135 to $140 million per year. Driver salaries, marketing costs, and the 3 highest paid staff members at each team are excluded. Everything else gets audited. Smaller teams loved it, bigger teams hated it. Red Bull and Mercedes had entire buildings full of engineers whose only job was to find performance through spending. Suddenly, they had a ceiling. They had to cut programs, restructure departments, and actually choose where the money went. For teams that had never worked inside a budget, this was a completely foreign way to operate. Here's the truth nobody at the front of the grid says out loud. The cap didn't make the sport equal. The teams that spent $400 million a year didn't lose their advantage overnight. They'd already built it. The wind tunnels, the simulation software, the infrastructure, all developed before the cap existed, all still working. You can't unspend 20 years of investment. The cap controls what happens now. It can't touch what already happened. The exemptions don't help either. Ferrari's heritage bonus still gets paid regardless of the cap. Certain costs categorized as marketing sit completely outside its reach. The gap between teams has closed. Calling it a level playing field is a stretch. What did change is how much efficiency matters. Before the cap, you threw money at a problem until it went away. Now the teams that win are the ones who spend their allocation the smartest. Every dollar saved in one area is a dollar available somewhere else. Engineering calls became budget calls. Red Bull figured this out faster than anyone and turned it into a competitive edge that's harder to close than any spending gap ever was. Talk about Haas for a second. Depending on how you look at it, they're either the most honest team in F1 or the most misunderstood. No 70-year factory legacy, no title sponsor writing 9-figure checks, no heritage bonus in the Concorde agreement. What they do have is a lean business model that bigger teams would never publicly admit to respecting. Gene Haas founded the team in 2016. He made his money in machine tools. Not glamorous, but Gene didn't enter F1 to win a championship. He entered because F1 reaches 700 million people every race weekend. Putting his company's name on that car is the most cost-effective marketing campaign a manufacturing business can run. Haas, the F1 team exists partly to sell Haas machine tools. It works. The model goes further than that. Haas buys as much of their car as the rules allow directly from Ferrari. The power unit, gearbox, hydraulic systems, all from Maranello, all legal. This cuts the cost of building a competitive car from scratch by a significant margin. Ferrari gets a paying technical partner. Haas gets Ferrari-grade components without Ferrari-grade bills. It's not the romantic version of F1, but it keeps them on the grid every season without burning through money on a development program they'd never win with anyway. Ferrari does the opposite. They build everything themselves: engine, chassis, aerodynamics, electronics, all designed and manufactured in-house across thousands of staff on a campus that functions more like a small city. The cost is enormous. The prestige justifies it. Ferrari isn't just a racing team, it's a national symbol, a century of history in a red car. That story commands sponsorship rates and partner loyalty no other team can match. Ferrari's costs are part of what it sells. There's no single model for staying alive in this sport. Ferrari spends at a scale most governments would find uncomfortable and earns at the same scale. Haas runs tight, spends smart, and earns accordingly. Mercedes uses F1 as a development lab for road cars and justifies the budget to its board through engineering transfer. Red Bull turned the whole thing into a content operation, a marketing platform, and a talent pipeline, and makes money from all of it. The teams that go under aren't the ones that spend too little or too much. They're the ones that lose track of what they're actually selling. The racing is almost beside the point. What every team sells at every race to every sponsor and broadcaster and casual viewer who found the sport through a documentary is the idea that this is the top, the most demanding, most expensive form of motorsport ever built. As long as that idea holds and the audience keeps growing, the money keeps moving. Through the sport, through the teams, and back out again. All of it dressed up, very convincingly, as a race. So the next time someone tells you F1 is just rich people driving fast cars, you now know better. It is rich people, corporate empires, governing bodies, and legacy bonuses all locked together in a very expensive, very elegant financial arrangement, with some racing thrown in to keep it interesting. If this broke your brain even slightly, hit the like button. It costs you nothing and it means everything to the algorithm. And if you want the next disturbing deep dive, subscribe, because we are just getting started.